nuggets, welcome back to my channel, and today I am finally doing a cartoon tutorial. I know it's been highly requested and you've got it right now. So the first thing you want to do, also the other day I did put on my story like an overview on how I do it, like my routine of doing it. So when you get a hang of it, your routine will be different. Also, I want to say that I will not be doing this tutorial on Ibis because my style of doing it, I just cannot do it, and I'm talking about the smudging tool. It's just so difficult for me to use. But if Ibis is really great for you, then you can try out using this video and helping you do it on Ibis, but I am not going to do it on there. So I was trying to say before I said that was the first thing you're going to do is trace it. I didn't record that because everybody knows how to trace. A brush you can use to trace is the airbrush with the hard airbrush on medium opacity. I can't tell you any numbers because I'm obviously not on the iPad version of Procreate. I'm on the iPhone version, Pocket. But the brush that I use to sketch is from this Hazelong portrait brush set. Her brush set is actually free. I'm gonna link it down in the description. And I use her sketching brush. Sometimes I use her painting brush, but it slips my mind and I always end up using this one. They're both literally the same. It's nothing different. I don't really use the other brushes here, but I did use it once when I was like practicing the whole drawing thing when I was really new to Procreate. But yeah, that's the sketching brush I use. But at the moment I'm going to be going into this hair set that I always put in my description because it's very useful. The next thing I'm doing after you've like done this whole thing, and if you're using Ibis doing this, I suggest that you use the dip pen fade for the brush so that you can also create like a little fade on the edges, and then everything else is nicely done. And then for the eyelashes, you can use the round brush for the eyelashes. I didn't do the eyelashes. They are actually, I'm going to put her IG on the screen, but they are her brushes that I'm using. Some of you would already know her, and I will put a link to her brushes in the description, or her IG instead, because it's literally in her bio and the link is in her bio. So these are her brushes, and she also have this one for baby hairs, but I don't usually use it for my cartoons because I like to follow the reference to how that looks. So I just use her lashes sometimes, and yeah. So I'm going to use this hair set, and I'm using the Hair Strands Shade 2. So for my layer setup, I have the eyelashes on the top and the hair, and that's my tracing layer. And at the bottom of the tracing layer is where I do the eyelashes, and everything else. And that's how I just work my way down. So you want to create a new layer under the tracing layer that you did, and I'm going to make this picture reappear. But if you're using an iPad and watching this tutorial, you should make a split screen with the real life picture, even though it's in the layers, but you're gonna keep looking at it, making sure that you're smudging the colors the right way and everything. So try to do that, because I go back and forth with the Photos app and it's annoying, so I really can't wait till I get an iPad. But yeah, so I'm just gonna put the opacity back on. So yeah, when you trace the picture, make sure that the opacity is low so you know what you're tracing. Now I'm going to eyedrop this color, color pick. Going back on this layer, I am going to start using the hairbrush with upwards motions. Wait, I'm trying to pick a darker color, but it's fine because I usually just fix the color of it at the end when I've finished. So because of her eyebrows are drawn in, I'm not going to do the eyebrow hairs all the way. So I'm just going to use this and make this smooth, because I'm going to be using a painting brush and I'm going to be going over it on the layer under it and go on the painting brush and creating a darker tone. Once you've got it all filled in like so, it's fine if yours is not exactly like mine, but mine looks messy. I'm trying to say is that you should start off lighter at the front, obviously, and then do it darker at the back. But if you didn't do that, you can easily just use the eraser and lightly make it lighter at the front. Now I'm gonna start using the smudging brush, and mine is on the hard air brush, and it's like in the middle when it comes to the opacity, and I'm making it fairly large and smudging it. Then when it looks like the way I want it to look, I'm going to lower the opacity of this so you can kind of see the hairs in the front. Okay, I want you to go on this layer because the colours is coming out weird on top of the colour, and plus on the picture she doesn't have a lot of hairs showing in her drawn on eyebrows. So just take off a little bit and then it should look like that. And yeah, I'm gonna carry on making it lighter in the front. And then when you think you're done, start cleaning up. And then smudge out the front if it looks weird. Okay, so her eyebrows are obviously not that color, so I'm going to be putting the saturation down and making it look a little more black. So I'm gonna leave it like this for now until I've finished the whole drawing, then I can fix it up more. Alright, so when we're done with that, we're gonna make a new layer under those brows and we're gonna start drawing the eyes. So we're gonna bring back this picture, and as you can see, she's not looking so bad. We're gonna lower the opacity of the brows though, then when we add color to it, she does not look as bad. So pick the color using the same painting brush. Gonna make the eyelashes invisible because I need this to be neat, because we're going to be using a clipping mask, and if you don't know what it is, you'll know in a second. I mean, you should know if you watched any of my recent editing videos. Well, not that recent, but it's only been a month of it. Okay, the new layer is adding the black bit in the middle. Oh, and if you're using the painting brush and you're like, why does it come up lighter and not dark, it's because of the pressure sensitivity, if you didn't know about it. Okay, so the next thing I'm doing is making a new layer on top of the color of the eye and using the clipping mask and putting out the color of it again and getting a darker color. Putting it over. smudging tool and smudge it. I want to go darker. Duplicate it so it looks darker. Now I'm going to use black and darken it faster. Then I'm going to use Gaussian blur on the layer 8 and smudge it out a little bit. And then make a new layer and go back here, make it a little more lighter color. And if you notice, this is the same way I did my eye tutorial. I'm just gonna make those invisible so I can see the highlights on the eye of the real picture. And I'm gonna be using get a white, and I'm gonna be using the technical pen. And then bring all of those back and see how I did. So I'm putting all of those together and I'm making a new layer, and this is to repaint the eye inside of it. So let's go back to the painting brush and start doing that. So I like to get some blacks in there to shade the eye a little bit, and then start using the actual colors that go in the eye. Make sure you're pressing the brush hard enough so you're not going back and forward, or else it's going to be like a low opacity on the painting. And because I didn't have a tutorial up at all on how you do this, I recommended people watched Carlos' tutorial, but like you would probably find it difficult, I guess, because he's using a different app, and you would download it so you would know how to do it right if you didn't have an experience. But anyways, moving on. So looking at this, you are obviously going to be confused on which and how you're going to blend this out. Well, looking at it, it looks already simple. So first, just start off at the top and then do this. and then blend all of this part out. Make sure your brush isn't too big. That's another reason why people wouldn't like to smudge. You think you would need to have the same brush size when you're blending. No, you need it like a little bit small when you're doing small areas, obviously, and then you need it a little bit bigger when you're doing bigger areas and want a smooth blend. And see, it's really simple. Okay, Nuggets, so when you're done blending it in, I just did this part already. I'm gonna do the other eye as well, don't worry. When you're done, just clean off the sides. And that's one eye done. And now we're gonna do the same thing like we did before. Sometimes you miss a little gap and you just gotta go back and fix that. I can't tell you what direction I'm shading it in. I'm just making it look nicely blended, if that makes any sense. It's really hard to explain how the blending process works. To be honest, because there isn't really a specific way to blend when you do little areas like this. But maybe when I do like the lips or something, I can explain how I'm blending. Okay, we're gonna do what we did before. When you're done, so those are the eyes done, and now we're gonna be making a new layer under that, and we're gonna be doing the lips. The lips is my favorite part, and it's actually really simple. Basically, all you're doing is blending colors, and this is a great way to learn how to blend harder colors. This is a really easy cartoon to do because she doesn't have that many shades when it comes to her skin to blend in. If you're doing a cartoon that has so many different colors on her skin tones, you're gonna find it difficult to blend it all in. Or if she has like a colored room and she's more purple than her actual skin, I'm gonna put an example up, then you're gonna find it really difficult to blend all of those in. So I'm gonna choose one of the pinky shades, and I'm gonna be using 2 different layers for her lips. I'm not going to be drawing it on the same one, just because I'm going to be using a clipping mask, and the clipping mask is what is the secret to how my lips look so good. Yeah. Still using the same brush. I use the same brush for a lot of things because like I don't see the need to switch between brushes unless you're trying to do textures. My paintings never have textures on it all the time, but I try to sometimes. So you can leave the picture up and just start painting. So it's okay if you draw over it, you're just going to make it look neater anyway. Okay, so once that one's done, make a new layer and pick the color, painting it in. Make sure it looks good. I know it kind of looks weird because her lips are kind of weird in the picture. There isn't much definition because she's caked up with foundation. That's just what it is. Okay, so the bottom lip, using the clipping mask, and make that layer invisible so you can see the colors on the bottom lip. Make sure your brush isn't too big, of course. And start like putting all the colors that you see. So once you've done that, you're going to bring this in and start smudging. So I know it looks difficult, but this is really simple. I had to go back and get the colors because obviously the green on that area was too much for it. If you feel like you're doing it wrong from this like one tutorial, or don't feel discouraged, because I did not know how to do this in one go. I mean, yes, it kind of looked like it, but that's because of the other experience I had just by doing Eyebrow repaints. It's gonna take a lot of tries till you can decide if you're doing it right or not by doing it once and then say you're trash. Because a lot of people say that, and it's like you haven't given yourself a go for that much before you can really start criticizing yourself that you cannot do it. And you know, that's bullshit and annoying. Like you probably do have the talent for it. That's why with the blending process, I'm telling you that you gotta keep looking at the picture. Now I just want to make the bottom lip just a tiny bit darker like it is in the picture. You just gotta keep blending and blending till everything looks right. So now I'm gonna do the top, make that layer invisible, and then bring this and start coloring it in. So just pick up the colors. And make sure it's a clipping mask. I'm using like circular motions as I'm blending. So the lips are looking like this, and I'm just going to remove this so I can see what it really looks like. It looks a bit weird at the moment. So I'm gonna make a new layer using add and bringing the picture back and removing these two so I can see the highlights. And we're gonna be using the technical pen. And then bring back everything and see how it looks. It looks pretty decent. Now we're gonna do the skin. I know some of you sound a bit scared and feel like you can't do it. This is really, really simple. Okay, so I'm gonna be putting the lips layers together, and then I'm gonna make a layer under it. So the reason why I've done all the layers like under each other like that is because when I do the skin, nothing, like when I'm painting it, it's not going on top of the other layers that I did, and everything is just neatly done. I don't gotta fix anything or erase anything from the other layers. And yeah, that's my reason. And if you're like a little bit experienced, then you would know what I'm talking about, because I am trash at explaining things. Alright, so going back on the painting brush and making this picture reappear, I like to start off on the forehead and start picking up all those colors. even get the colors on her scalp as well. To be honest, on the low, my tutorial doing this cartoon would look difficult because I'm picking like every little color that is on the picture, and to be honest, you don't need to do that, but that's just my style, and more of the reason why my drawings look very realistic. And if that's the look you're going for, then you can keep watching this video or any future cartoon tutorials that I do. Most of the next tutorials of cartoon tutorials that I would do would be like showing you how to blend and stuff like that. So remember, when you got gaps, just go back and figure out and start blending. If your smudging brush is too big, you would know because it's smudging colors you don't want to smudge at the same time at the moment. So make sure you're watching out for that. And as you're smudging it, I suggest that you you zoom in and out so you can know you're doing it right. This little gap is an error from when I was drawing the hair. Probably gonna annoy some of you, so I'm just gonna fix it. So make sure it's getting neatly blended in. Got like short-term memory loss, but I'm not sure if I said make sure you're smudging with low opacity. So as you can see, it's not smoothly blended in together. You still need to like keep going at it until it looks really smooth. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. And now I'm just gonna erase that area. So now the next thing that I do is start off with one eye. Wait, gotta take off these because that's not the color on that end or here. Well, it is a little bit. So you're just gonna pick and drop. I don't always remember to put the size of my thing down, but start to blend in. Okay, continuing on, we're gonna start putting up all the colors on the one half of the face besides the nose. Okay, so when you're done with that, it does take a while and my fingers really hurt. This is like the fastest route. If you just do like little colors and blend it in, you're gonna take hours, and it did take hours for me when I was doing it that way. So do it this way and you can like get more done faster. There are colors that I didn't press too hard with the colors. I'm just going back to fix it. And when you just look at it like this, you can already tell you can already see how you would blend the colors in already. So yeah, I like to start here, start blending it in. See why I said it's easier to blend when her skin tone is like this? Because all the colors are most likely the similar, and you can just easily blend it in. And then you can start erasing it. I'm just going back and blending it some more because I see some areas that blended too much. But at the moment it looks pretty fine. Now we're going to start doing the nose. So nuggets, I'm back and I did the nose. It was pretty easy. It's just you gotta smudge it in and then pick in the dark color and do the nose bit and just like smudge it outwards. Make sure the brush size is a little bit smaller so you can do the inner corners. And I just went in off camera obviously and did the other bits, so you already know what to do. You pick and drop the color and start smudging it in. I just want to show you how long I've actually been doing this for. 3 hours and 7 minutes, and you're probably watching this and it's like 15 minutes, so I just want to show you that it's gonna take you a while, especially on your first try. It's gonna take you at least 5 to 7 hours for your first try, so you need to like make sure you're gonna have patience for this, and always remember that your first try is definitely not going to be perfect or come out nicely as you want it to, because it's your first try. You just got to have many tries obviously till it comes out how you would like it. With the brows, it's the same thing I did before. I added colors inside of it to make it darker. I'm just blending everything. Like I said before, the colors would be the same. I know like it's confusing because like all the colors are different, yada yada, in your eyes, but I mean for her skin tone they're all the same and it shouldn't be that difficult to blend out. And I know there's like a gap around her nose because I'm gonna do that afterwards. Okay, so on a new layer I'm going to pick this color to define this side, but not too much. And I'm going to just make the sketch invisible so I can like see it. And then we're gonna do another one here and here. And then going back on the other layer, and make sure your smudging brush is small as you're bringing it forward. So I know her nose looks a little bit weird, but that's how it looks in the picture. And you're going to erase, and the excess off. Just gonna fix some things. So the face is completely done. I'm going to keep like smudging some places, making the brush just a tiny bit bigger. I need to clean this up So let me get the sketch back. So just like look closer if you got any parts that isn't blended out properly. We're almost done. So now we're gonna do the neck, and it's gonna be under the skin layer because we don't want it to join in with the face that we did. It's just going to be hectic trying to blend all of that together. So like bring this back and start picking and dropping in the color. Okay, so I'm back, and I had to skip a few things because the video is going to be way too long. Basically, it's just the same thing. You're going to be smudging like in circular motions, and as you put the colors together, you already know like how to like which direction to smudge in, because you can already like see it coming together. So your job is just to smudge it nicely and smoothly. And the top is just easy. It's just one color and a bit of a grey, and I smudged it all together and I put it on there. So now the last thing to do is to do the hair, and I'm just gonna be fixing it up a bit the way I did it. And I'm gonna be using the smudging tool to like smudge out the hairline a little bit because it's not looking that great. Okay, after I've done that, I'm going to be using the thick curly hair brush, and I'm going to be going over the white bits that you can still see. Okay, and now I'm gonna be making a new layer, and I'm going to make that hair layer invisible, bring this one in, and also because of we're also gonna make that one invisible so we can really see everything. So just make everything invisible. And the brush I'm gonna be using is the detail brush. It's gonna be in the description. And I'm going to be using the hair 2 brush, and basically I'm just going to be, we're not going to be using the clipping mask just because so I can see like all the colors I'm using. So you're just going to be using this brush and picking the colors like we've been doing with the skin. Alright, now you're going to start smudging it. I know it looks all weird, but this is just the process of it. At this point you can bring the colors back so you can see what you're doing. Make your smudging brush a bit bigger. You can neatly smudge it out better. And now we're going to start the other side. I know it's weird, everything looks a mess when you put the layers, when you take some layers off. Alright, she looks so much better. Now you can actually leave it like this and add a background. Okay, the next thing I want to do is add more saturation. So like I'm gonna put these 2 layers together, and I'm going to go here on saturation and brightness, and because she's a little like looking really cool, going to make the saturation a bit higher. So nuggets, this is the end of the video. I know it looks very hard and difficult, but you will get it. I will get better at explaining how you do this. I really hope that you don't find it as difficult as I did on my first time. I'm gonna keep trying to make it as easy as possible. with other tutorials on this. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and if you're new to my channel, subscribe and turn on post notifications, and I'll see you in my next video.